Hi everyone! So today I wanted to talk about being glued to your phone. Doing background work pretty much requires you, or acting in general, pretty much requires you to constantly have your phone by your side. For background work, you normally have to call in and submit yourself for certain jobs that you want to work on. So you will get notification of a new job and say, I don't know, say they're looking for somebody to work on a show. They'll put out, oh, we're looking for non-union males and females who are any ethnicity between the ages of 25 and 40 who can work downtown tomorrow. And so then I'll put a number and then you'll call the number. But you don't get through right away. Normally you will be calling and getting a busy signal over and over and over again because everyone who thinks they are right for the role is going to be calling in at the same time. So I pretty much always set aside about at least an hour to just be on the phone constantly redialing because it normally takes about on average an hour for me to get through to a person. And then once you get through to the casting director, you give them your information, they look you up in their computer and they'll see your picture. So then they'll say, oh yeah, we can use you, that's fine, and they'll give you your details. Or they'll say, you know what, sorry, I can't use you for this one, but thanks. And so then that's it. So basically it was an hour of your time that was wasted, but at least you tried. So I think you always have to try to submit yourself no matter what, because you never know. I pretty much call for everything, anything that I think I could even remotely fit, I call for, because you never know exactly what kind of looks they're looking for. So that's a big part of booking jobs, is just calling in for them, and that takes up a huge chunk of your time. People do have calling services, which is basically someone who does that for you. They submit you to different jobs and then they only message you when you actually booked something. So they just send you your details and you're good to go. I don't have one just because I don't really feel like paying for one quite yet, but I'm probably going to get one sometime in the near future. So the other thing is there's different ways you can submit yourself for jobs. There's one website I'm a part of where you submit for jobs and they'll either email you or text you if they're interested. So they'll give you audition information or email you saying that you're booked and they need you to respond. So I would definitely say that you pretty much need to have a smartphone, or at least a phone that can do emails, texts, probably a camera phone, because sometimes they'll ask you to submit just a candid picture of yourself. So it's good to just be able to snap a picture of yourself wherever you are. And your phone is pretty much your lifeline. It's basically your moneymaker. And you should always make sure that it's fully charged before you leave. I'm actually going to be investing in a little battery pack thing, because if you're on location and you're outside, there are no chargers. And if you're calling to submit for jobs and you're on the phone for hours straight, your phone's going to die pretty quickly. So then you're kind of screwed because that's your only way to get work. So it's definitely an important asset to have a really good phone. And you can also, the website that I submit for jobs through, you can also do it on your phone. And you just go to the website and you can submit. And that makes it really easy. But again, your battery you need to be really careful of. So when I'm on location, I never really use my phone for entertainment. I don't like Facebook or play games on my phone for the most part, just because you have to save the battery to try to get work. And then once you submit for jobs, you're always pretty much waiting for the phone to ring, hoping that you get the job, and you're waiting for that email or that call or that text. And I don't know, you just always have to have your phone with you. And I know a lot of people do that anyways, just because it's kind of that time now where everyone's always has their electronics near them. But I don't know, it kind of makes me uncomfortable because I don't like having that pressure on me and when I'm calling for an hour and it's constantly busy, it's just like, it's super monotonous, and it's crazy because when you hear that phone ringing, all of a sudden everyone does the same thing. They're like, oh, like they get all excited that the phone's finally ringing. So it's just, it sucks, but you always have to be ready to go no matter what, because sometimes if you do get called for an audition, they'll be like, oh yeah, can you come in today at like 2? And so then you have to be ready to go, and if you don't have your phone on you, you would have missed that and you would not have been able to make it. Also, sometimes they'll call you, my casting agency will call people sometimes specifically if they want them to work on a certain show. They just have them in mind. So they'll call you and just ask you if you're available. And so that's another way that some people get booked. It normally doesn't happen too often. You kind of have to have a rapport with the director so they get to know you and they like you and know that you're reliable. But that's another thing. And you can't get discouraged, because even if you've been calling for an hour or 2 hours, whatever, and you finally get through and they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I can't use you. It's nothing personal. I mean, well, not really. It's not really personal. They just have a certain number of spots that they have to fill for each kind of look. And so if they can't use you, it's probably because they, already booked those spots, or, the production's not looking for people with your body type or hair type or, skin coloring, whatever. So it's not because they don't like you or you're not doing a good job. It's just because you're not necessarily the right fit, or you are, but all those similar spots have already been taken. That happens a lot, and it sucks because you're trying so long to get through, and then they're like, no, and I mean, it's just a bummer, but you just can't take it personally, and then you just have to go on to the next one and just keep calling and submitting yourself. And I normally try to book myself as early as possible in the day, just so I don't have to worry about it later in the day, because a lot of jobs actually do come on the line later in the afternoon, but I feel like more people are going to be pushing for those. Everyone who hasn't been booked yet is going to be calling in like crazy. So it's nice to just try to get it over with at the beginning of the day and try to book the first thing that comes up. So that's pretty much what I try to do. I just started submitting through the website for jobs, and I've already gotten booked for 2 things, and I got called for an audition, and actually 2 auditions. So, I mean, it's definitely important to discover your different resources, and for certain sites that you can submit for jobs, it does cost money, but I mean, I've already made back my year-long subscription fees just from the 2 jobs I've already done. So it can definitely be worth it. You just have to make sure that you have really good pictures on there that represent you very well, because they'll be expecting you to show up to set looking like you do in your pictures. So yeah, this is actually just going to be a pretty short video. Just make sure you have a really good quality phone that can grant you internet access or to your emails, or Facebook even, because sometimes the casting directors will post stuff on Facebook and you'll have to follow the directions that they put on there. And I know a lot of people don't have Facebook still, but that is definitely important. Twitter also, I don't tweet just because I don't think my life's interesting enough, but I do follow different production offices and casting agencies, just because they'll sometimes tweet when they're looking for people to fill certain slots. And you also have to have your phone on overnight because if they need rush calls, sometimes they'll call you at like 3 in the morning and say, hey, are you available to work at this studio at 9? And you can either say yes or no, but you always have to have your phone on so you can hear it in case you're trying to book these rush calls. So it's a hustle, but you definitely have to have your schedule open and just be ready and willing to work immediately wherever they might need you. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week. Sorry, it's kind of a lame video. I'm not feeling that well. But I'll come back next week and hopefully have something a little more exciting for you. All right, thanks. Bye.